Are you posting every day only to feel that no one's picking up what you're putting down? It's because you're not being intentional about your visibility. When you have a clear message, you are seen, respected, and not exhausted. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Jameela Adams Experience, where we're building businesses and lives that feel good to run. Today, we're talking about something that no one wants to admit. You're showing up, but you're tired of it. Yeah, I know. I totally get it. And it's not because you hate your business, it's because your visibility feels like a performance instead of positioning. So we're going to fix that. We're going to get out of the performance trap, okay? Because you've been told that visibility equals volume, more posts, more reels, more vulnerability, more everything. But here's the truth: visibility without intention creates resentment, and then resentment creates withdrawal. And it just goes into this vicious cycle of frustration. You either overpost or ghost social media altogether. And through doing that, people don't see you, they don't understand what you're talking about. And that's unfortunate. So, you get what I'm putting out now? This cycle of frustration is horrible. So, let's talk about ways to remedy it. Okay. So, we're going to do intentional visibility. And what does it look like? Well, first we have to define being intentional. Okay. Intentional visibility is something that we all need to put into practice. And that is having a clear message. Okay. Who are you? What do you do? Next thing is define audience. Who do you serve? Okay. Who do you help? And the other thing you have to remember is strategic repetition. And that reinforces your message across all of your platforms. And then the next thing is sustainable rhythm. You work at your peak, and that's where the magic happens. And I know I've talked about auditing your energy. Well, this is what we have to do because this will allow for us to have balance. So here's the thing: you don't need to have new ideas every day. You just need to reinforce your core message. One of the things I enjoy talking about is who I serve, and who I help. Okay, so my core message has always been: I help women entrepreneurs over 40 turn their passion project into a service-based business. That's one of the things I've always talked about and always share. Okay, through marketing and website design. That is my core message. That is who I help and how I do it. So you see what I'm getting at? This is what makes your visibility intentional, because you talk about who you are, what you do, and how you reach the people you're trying to reach. So, one thing about repetition, it builds authority. And when you have authority, everything just seems to open up, okay? Because people know you, they like you, and they trust you. But one thing about randomness builds confusion. And that is the complete opposite. If they don't know what you're talking about, they don't understand your products or your services, then they're not going to trust you and they're not going to buy. So you have to remember that. Repetition builds authority, while randomness builds confusion. So the next thing I want to talk about is having a four-part visibility framework. Okay. We're going to talk about how to create it and what steps you can take in order to put it into practice. So a visibility framework, you have to have authority content. Basically, you're teaching something. Okay. Then the next thing is connection content. Is what makes you relatable to people. Okay. Third is conversion content. It's an invite to a discussion or even possibly a discovery call. And then finally, rest. Yes, back away from your phone, back away from your desk. Rest is a part of strategy because burned out leaders don't build strong brands. And I want you to stay focused on that. Rest is something we all need. So, if anything, I want you to get out of this is that you don't have to perform to be powerful, and you don't have to overshare to be relatable. You don't have to be everywhere to be respected. Intentional visibility is about leading, not chasing. And we're about businesses that last. We're about building businesses that last. So, until next week, I want you to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, be encouraging. But most of all, I want you to be you, and I want you to take care